Hi all, myself Professor Disha Shukla and I am conducting the subject wireless communication. My today's topic is Fresnel zone concept. Now Fresnel zone concept is a topic that is a subpart of diffraction. We have already seen what do you mean by diffraction, but to further clarify it, so diffraction is a mechanism wherein a signal is traveling in a particular direction, and when it collides with an object, may it be mountains or buildings or trees or anything. So whenever it collides with some objects and it changes its path, that is, it creates a multipath, such an event is called diffraction. And one of the topics that it includes is called the Fresnel zone concept. So actually in diffraction we go through the path loss. So we are basically discussing what is path loss and how does Fresnel zone affect this path loss. So starting with path loss. So path loss is actually the difference between the effective transmitted power and the received power. Obviously, because the power through which the signal is emitted is may not be the same at the receiver because of the real time scenario. I mean, in an ideal situation, we we believe that the power is same, but actually in the practical scenario that is not the case. There is some difference between the effective transmitted power and the received power. So that difference is called the path loss. Path loss represents signal attenuation at a positive quantity measured in the decibels. Now it may or may not include the effect of the antenna gains. So there are different antenna gains parameters that we have seen. So it can or cannot affect the path loss. And for a free space path loss model with the antenna gain, we can define PL, that is the path loss, is as 10 log PT upon PR, where PT is the power at the transmitted side and PR is the power at the receiving end. That can further be said as minus 10 log GT GR lambda square upon 4 pi the whole square into d square. Again, GT is the gain of the transmitting antenna and GR is the gain of the receiving antenna. Here lambda square is the wavelength of the signal and d is the distance between the two antennas. So this is how the path loss equation can be measured. Now for a free space model with the antenna gains are excluding, when we exclude those antenna gains, that is, we consider that the gain at the transmitting antenna GT is equal to the gain at the receiving antenna GR, and that is equal to 1, then the path loss equation can be further modified as minus 10 log lambda square upon 4 pi whole square into d square. Now the free space model is the only one valid parameter or a predictor for the PR values for which D and R in the far field of a transmitting antennas are mentioned. So far field or the Fraunhofer region of a transmitting antenna. So whenever a particular signal or whenever a particular antenna is transmitting its signals, there are certain amount of regions that are, I mean, the region between the transmitter and the antenna can be divided into different types, and one of them is the near field and the another is the far field. So the far field is also known as the Fraunhofer region, and it is generally the Fraunhofer region of the transmitting antenna. So what is this Fraunhofer region? So it is the region beyond the far field distance DF. Now this is the region that is considered beyond the far field. It is related to the largest linear dimension of the transmitting antenna Tx and the carrier wavelength. So df, that is the far field distance, is equal to 2 into d square upon lambda, where d is the largest physical linear dimension of the antenna. So df, that is the far field distance df, must specify two criteria, that df has to be very large than d and df has to be very large than lambda. These are the two assumptions that we have. So see, for example, this is my antenna and this is where it is transmitting its power. So this is my far near field, that is up to this level. this is called my near field and this is my far field. So this region, this is called the Fresnel zone or the French zone, and this is called the Fraunhofer region. That is the distance d. Here the distance will be d square upon lambda, and here it is 2d square upon lambda. So after this portion, that is after the near field, the field is called the far field, and that is called the Fraunhofer region. And this particular situation, it does not hold for d is equal to 0, that is for the distance equal to 0. And that is why the large scale propagation models use a concept of close in distance, that is d0. So we are talking about df, that is the far field distance df, but for the large scale propagation models we consider the another parameter, that is the close in distance, that is d0, and it is as known as the received power reference model. So the reference distance must be chosen such that it lies in the far field region, that is d0 has to be greater than or it can be equal to the far field region, far field distance df. Now for the power at the receiving antenna, it is a function of distance. At d, that will be greater than 0, that is the distance between the two is greater than the close-in distance d0, it can be related to PR of d0. So PR of d0 can be predicted from the figure, or it can be measured in the radio environment by taking the average received power at many points at a radial distance d0 from d of tx. So PR of d, that is equal to PR into d0 upon into d0 square upon d, where d is greater than or equal to d0 is greater than or equal to df. Again, often the dBm, or the power is calculated in decibel meters or decibel watts units, and those are used to express the received power levels. So PR of d in decibel meters is equal to 10 log of PR into d0 upon 0.001 watts plus 20 log d0 by d. Now this is an equation that is used to calculate the power at the receiving antenna in decibel meters. So here again d0 is equal to 1 meter for the indoor environment, and d0 is equal to 100 meters or 1 kilometer for the outdoor environment. These are again some of the things that you need to keep in mind. So moving further, Fresnel zone. Now what is a Fresnel zone? The Fresnel zone is the area around the visual line of sight that the radio waves spread out into after leaving the antenna. So here we are discussing mostly for the line of sight propagation. That is, for a line of sight propagation we have a Fresnel zone. Now if you want a clear line of sight to maintain the signal strength, especially for the 2.4 GHz wireless system, because the 2.4 GHz wireless systems can be absorbed by water, like the water found in the trees, so it is necessary that we maintain a signal strength in the line of sight. So typically 20% of the Fresnel zone blockage introduces little signal loss to the link. So basically this calculation is based on the flat earth. So Fresnel zone can be calculated, it is a kind of an area between the transmitter and the receiver when we are talking about the line of sight. So it is based on the flat earth. It does not take the curvature of the earth into consideration. The effect of this is to budge the earth in the middle of the link. It is recommended that for a long links to have a microwave path analysis done that takes this and the topography of the terrain into the account. So what does this mean? See, the formula for determining the zone of the widest point for a Fresnel zone can be given by 17.32 into square root of d by 4f, where d is the distance in kilometers between the two antennas and f is the frequency at which it is transmitting. And the formula for determining the radius of the widest point of the Fresnel zone is 72.05 into square root of d by 48, where d is the distance in miles between the two antennas and f is the frequency at which the antennas are transmitting. So the Fresnel zone can be defined based on the phase difference between a loss path, that is the line of sight path, and the diffracted path it is a function of height and position of the abstraction as well as Tx, that is the transmitting antenna Tx, Rx is the receiving antenna Rx location. The concept of diffraction loss as a function of path difference around an obstruction is explained using the Fresnel zone. Fresnel zone represents the successive regions where the secondary waves have a path length from Tx to Rx which are n lambda by 2 greater than the total path length of the line of sight. The successive Fresnel zones have the effect of alternately providing the constructive and the destructive interference to the total received signal. In a point-to-point wireless communication, it is important for the line of sight between the two wireless systems to be free from any obstruction. Hence, any interference or the obstruction like the terrarian, vegetarian, buildings, wind farms and the host of other obstructions in the line of sight can result in a loss of signal. So, while installing a wireless communication system, it is important to keep an elliptical region between the transmitting antenna and the receiving antenna free from any obstruction for the proper functioning of the system. This 3D elliptical region between the transmit antenna and the receiving antenna is called the Fresnel zone. The size of the ellipse is determined by the frequency of operation and the distance between the two sides. So this is the Fresnel zone. Say for example, this is my antenna 1 and this is the antenna 2. So based on them, between we have a elliptical region. This is called the Fresnel zone, and it's not a particular only one I mean we have multiple concentric ellipse here, and based on that it can be defined. There are multiple zones, but they become weaker. I mean the signal strength becomes weaker as the Fresnel zones radius increases. See, based on the figure above, the Fresnel zone is calculated using, the radius of the Fresnel zone ellipse can be calculated using this formula, where n is the Fresnel zone's number. Which particular circle or which particular ellipse you are talking about, and it should always be greater than 0 for obvious reasons. Now, based on this, as I already said, there are different Fresnel zones, concentric ones, and they form this kind of concentric boundaries between the two. So the radius can be calculated using n lambda d1 d2 upon d1 plus d2. So based on that, we can be this is a solution for the Fresnel zone. Like we can place a particular antenna at some height. So what happens is the criteria for line of sight can be seen from here, but the obstructions does not occur in between these two. So that can help us, and based on that we can the communication can be done. There is no obstruction in between these two, so it can be easy. The reflected path will again transmit the signal that will be reflected from this Fresnel zone can be transmitted to the receiver. They don't get lost when they collide with the obstruction. So this is how what is the concept of Fresnel zone, and this is the solution how we can solve it. We can either place the transmitter or the receiver at some height, so the zone does not have any kind of obstruction. So basically the Fresnel zone does not need to have any kind of obstruction for a free path path loss resistant transmission. If you have any kind of obstruction in this Fresnel zone, then it may be possible that the device or that the signal can be lost, or the path, there can be multiple path. So this is all about the Fresnel zones. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Thank you.